Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to those joining me in the Zoom room, and also those watching the live stream or the recording. So this is the second one of these half an hour Wednesday satsang. And I really enjoyed the last one. What it is, the intention of this is to have some time where we have a guided meditation, and then I'll give a talk. And last time, it felt a little strange for me to have no communication with you, which is kind of what I said I would do. I'd have no dialogues. And I want to stick to that, but especially because we need to limit the time to half an hour. But just to have a sense of you, I thought maybe we could just, each one of you here on the Zoom room, if you can just feel into how you are in this moment. And if you feel like, write just like one sentence, just a few words in the chat, if you know where to find it. Yeah, just so that we can have a sense of who's here and how we are in this moment. And in that way, have a little sense of connection here. Yeah, of course, no pressure, but it would be nice to hear from you. So yeah, I'll just read out. Keith says, getting centered. Janice, thankful. Nicole, feeling calm. Amanda, grateful to be here in community and in truth. Kati, I'm feeling happy to connect tonight. Marit, satisfied and grateful. Lisa, joy in being together. Yeah, you see, we love this sense of connection, don't we? Lodia, I don't know if I pronounce your name right. Tired and open. Yeah. Anna, feeling grateful for your presence and this little gathering. Yeah. Christina, good. Lovely. Okay, that's nice. Just to have a sense of you. Otherwise, it can feel so impersonal, just talking to the screen, you know. Yeah. So let's start with just getting comfortable where you're sitting. And if it feels good for you, you can close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths just to settle in. And just notice the room, the feeling of the room where you're sitting in, the space, perhaps some background sounds. Here I hear the sound of the wind. It's been very stormy here, so the wind is very wild. So just notice whatever is here for you. And perhaps also noticing how any background sounds or the room or the space itself is affecting how you feel in this moment. And we just notice how this body is feeling right now. Any aches or pains or tension. any sense of contraction or expansion. Just noticing it. Any waves of emotion, waves of energy passing through, maybe sticking around for a little while and then changing and moving. Noticing any thought stories, any commentary on whatever might be here. And that too, we just notice. And as we are noticing whatever is happening in this experience right now, there is the space in which it happens. The space that holds whatever is here, that knows whatever is here in the experience. The space that is the unconditional seeing and accepting, meeting whatever is here, just the way it is right now. And as I point to and speak of this space, this unlimited space, just see if you know this space, if you recognize this space, if it resonates with you in some way, beyond all the words, beyond any beautiful spiritual concepts, beyond all ideas and beliefs. Perhaps there is a sense in you, a knowing of what I'm pointing to here. And we just consciously acknowledge this knowing, this resonating, even if you don't understand it with your mind, even if you can't grasp it in any way, or even if you don't feel it. In fact, this space that I'm pointing to is ungraspable, beyond all feeling. It is impossible to understand. And yet, it is known, because it is you. It is you right now, always. Then again, we can just notice any background sounds, and the sensation of sitting on this chair or this seat, the contact with the ground. Noticing the breath just as it is right now. And then when you're ready, we can come back to the screen. So first of all, I want to thank those who sent in some questions or themes that you would like me to respond to. And a reminder for anyone who would like to do that for next time, you're welcome. Even if you already have the link for this and you don't need to fill in the booking form for it, you can even just email us with a theme or a question that you'd like me to respond to. And of course, I can't manage to respond to everybody, but yeah, I just pick one or two. So today, I'd like to speak a little bit about not knowing, which really is always my favorite subject. In fact, I used to call these meetings meeting in not knowing when I first started holding these meetings more than 20 years ago. Because essentially, nothing is really known when we don't believe our thoughts. Because thoughts pretend to know, they think they know, and that is their function. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just that those thoughts, the mind, cannot know ultimate truth. It cannot know the nature of reality. It cannot know who I am. And when we see the nature of thought, how it cannot know, and it is simply a tool for living in the world for these humans, right? A very useful tool, nothing wrong with it, but it has its limitations. And when we see this, we can see that there is a greater knowing in not knowing. When the thinking says, I don't know, I don't get it, I don't understand, I can't grasp it, I can't arrive at it, I can't do it, I just don't know who I am, what I am, where I am, nothing. There is a surrender in that, in the thinking, giving up this idea of I do know and I can know. And in this surrender of thinking I know, there is a kind of bowing down of the mind to the true master, which is life itself, the knowing beyond all thinking I know. And one question that someone asked is for me to speak about uncertainty. And this is especially relevant in our modern lives when it seems that so much is uncertain. And of course, life is always uncertain. It is the nature of life that the thoughts cannot understand and grasp the mystery of life. We never know why things happen, how things happen, and what's going to happen next, right? So, yes, it's always essentially uncertain. And yet, it seems that in our modern times, perhaps it's even more uncertain on the relative level. In the past, there seemed to be more of a sense of continuity or rhythm in our daily lives, more of a relative sense of certainty, and with that, safety. And there used to be more of a sense of community, more communal rituals, and a shared sense of meaning on the relative level, right, amongst people. And nowadays, we seem to be so isolated, and everyone is supposed to somehow manage alone. And especially now with everything being online, or so much being online, there is even more of this sense of we're all having to deal with this uncertainty alone. And for our bodies, for these nervous systems, we didn't somehow evolve for this way of living, for this level of uncertainty in our daily lives. Because when we come together to face uncertainty, for some reason it's easier to handle. It's easier to feel. It's easier to feel safe together. And that's what it's all about, really. It's about safety. And these bodies, these humans, they need a certain degree of safety. And without that, there are rising levels of anxiety and feeling very lonely and alone, having to deal with so many new challenges that never existed in the past. So much more pressure to be someone. Life moves so much faster. There's so much more stimulation. So it's a lot for these human bodies to handle, for the mind also to process. So this sense of uncertainty is not wrong. It's not a problem with you. You know, you're not failing at managing with this kind of uncertainty. I feel like it is normal at the moment, even though it can feel so abnormal. But because we have to face these kinds of challenges in our lives, uh, this kind of response of feeling more fear or more anxiety, more unrest in general, is a normal response. Which is why I love to come together, even though it's online. It's better than nothing, right? We're all in our little boxes, and yet just coming together to consciously acknowledge how we feel, the challenges that we face, but also the bigger sense of safety beyond all of these relative challenges that we face. That there is the space that I mentioned before. There is that knowing of it all that doesn't save you from feeling whatever you feel. It doesn't save you from the challenges of life. And yet, knowing that you are held in oneness, wholeness, love. And this is the love that we all are. This is where we connect ultimately, where in fact we're never separate. So let's just take a moment right now just to really feel that in our experience right now. No matter how you're feeling, it is all happening in that bigger connection. What you are is what I am. And each person here in this meeting today is that. And this brings a sense of safety and is very soothing for these humans to know that we are held in that always. So we're just about coming to the end of our time together. Half an hour flies by. And I'd love to just hear one word from each of you, if you feel like, again in the chat, how you feel now. Because things change, right? And it doesn't have to be that you're magically feeling amazing or something, but still just to be present with whatever is here for you in this moment. You feel like sharing. Nicole has heard. Keith, more peaceful and present. Marit, a little sleepy. Yeah. Urja, grateful for what is and safe. Lisa, quiet, peaceful. Kati, I am with the uncertainty. Yeah. Christina, simple. Anna, trusting life. Johannes, calm and present. Jean-Marc, I feel connected. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you sharing what is true for you now. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. You can use the same link next time to join. Okay, lots of love. Bye, everybody.